The Senate border bill has now been released by the Senate, and that means that it goes to the House. And we're probably in for a period of weeks or months as both Democrats and Republicans get into rooms with experts and dig into the details and figure out whether they will support or not. No, I'm kidding. They're done. Speaker Mike Johnson tweeted, "I've seen enough. This bill is even worse than we expected. And we won't come close to any of the border catastrophe the president has created." As the lead Democrat negotiator proclaimed, under this legislation, the border never closes. Well, of course the border never fully closes. What the hell are you talking about? If this bill reaches the House, it will be dead on arrival. And it's because I read it. I sat down and I read all of the words, I read all of the pages, I looked at the details, and it wasn't just that I read bleats from Donald Trump telling me to kill it. It's not that, it's the detail part, he would have you believe, Mike Johnson. So anyway, look, we know who he is. We know why he's doing what he's doing, and we will certainly make fun of him more. But it's important that you at least know what this bill is designed to do, because it is effectively quite the gift to the right. And still, it could be dead on arrival. So it's a $118 billion bill that doesn't just cover the border. It also includes funding for Ukraine as well as Israel and a number of other, it's like they mashed a whole bunch of stuff together. But the biggest policy part, aside from distribution of funds, is on the border. So it includes a trigger mechanism that would allow the border to be effectively shut down to migrants if crossings have been particularly high for several days in a row. Around 1,400 migrants would still be able to qualify for asylum at ports of entry. That border emergency provision, which expires in 3 years, would automatically kick in when crossings reached 5,000 per day for several days. But a president could choose to use the tool at a lower number, 4,000 per day. The proposal would make it harder for migrants to apply for and qualify for asylum. The bill also encourages quicker resolutions to asylum cases at the border. It creates a new removal authority to speedily remove migrants who don't qualify for asylum. It is so much of what they have been asking for over the years. And the 5,000 number, which is really a 4,000 number, is not like, it's not like the gate at Disney or whatever, where they just like tick off, okay, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,000. Okay, now we're gonna get serious. That's not how it works. This isn't like 5,000 people enter free. They are still going through the system. So there are a lot of willful lies being told about this bill, but a lot of it was effectively written in large part to give the Republicans what they want, to abide by their requirements for what happens at the border. And it just happens to be an election year, and Joe Biden happens to be the president. So screw all their claims about the border and what they've asked for in terms of policy. It might very well be dead just because Donald Trump wants it to be. What do you think?
Exactly. I mean, and it goes to the heart of it, and we've spoken about this before, that the border ultimately is simply a talking point. It's simply a way to gain points, to score political points. Donald Trump did it in 2016. He tried to do it in 2020, but then he pivoted to people who didn't want unarmed Black Americans to be shot dead in the street. But this is what they're going to do all the time. Nobody is serious about actually addressing any kind of immigration crisis, which is the fact that there are 11 million undocumented people who've been living in this country for decades, who deserve a pathway to citizenship. The real crisis is people, family members, children, pregnant women dying on the border because the United States has basically made a gamble, no matter whether you're a Republican or a Democrat, that they want to be scarier than the cartels or whatever awaits these families who are seeking actual asylum, who want safety, who want to live in peace. That is, and the true story with this border deal isn't that Republicans are being sort of petulant little children about whether they want to vote for it or not, and they don't want to give Biden a win. It's that any Democrat would say that this is okay, that we're going to hand massive amounts of more executive power to the president to shut down the border whenever they so please, teeing it up for anyone. I mean, a Democrat, Republican to utilize this is just wild. So I don't care that they kill it. It is such a terrible piece of legislation.
Check out the Damage Report podcast each day, wherever you get your podcasts, whether Pocket Casts or Stitcher or iTunes. You can join me as I give you the news and stories you want, with a range of co-hosts and interview guests jumping in on the fun each day. Again, that's the Damage Report, wherever you get your podcasts. And if you get them at iTunes, don't forget to rate and review. Sometimes I'll read them live on the show.